Okay, Christina here to listen to some music, and today's music selection is On the Turning Away by Pink Floyd. So I have been having quite the journey with Pink Floyd on the channel so far. I have done the full album listening of The Dark Side of the Moon. You can find that here on YouTube and some of the tracks also over on Patreon, and also a couple of other individual tracks like Wish You Were Here and Comfortably Numb. And so for those of you who have been following me along on this journey, you might remember me mentioning that I have heard one Pink Floyd album already in the past. When I was a teenager, I fell in love with Momentary Lapse of Reason. So when this direct request to listen to On the Turning Away from Momentary Lapse of Reason came up, I was like, yeah, let's do this. I am really excited to dive into this song that I got to know really well years ago. It's been like 10 years actually, probably, since I've heard this song. I can't wait to dive into it now with more mature ears, not just through my own career, but through this journey on the channel. And exactly what are we doing here on the channel? I am a professional classically trained musician, instrumentalist, vocalist, composer, and professor. So we discuss all different aspects of this music, the composition, the chord structure, the instruments, and also how it makes us feel. How does this music connect with us as humans? Okay, so I'm really excited to dive into this one. So enough talking for now. Let's listen. Okay. Also, On the Turning Away was released in 1987, and this video is from a concert the following year in 1988. So I've seen Comfortably Numb from the live Pulse concert. This will be interesting to see them back in the 80s. This is really great. Okay, here we go.
On the turning away from the pale and downtrodden, and the words they say which we won't understand. Don't accept that what's happening it's just a case of other suffering. Oh, you'll find that you're joining in the turning away. It's a sin that somehow light is changing to shadow.
Okay, this is already really special. I'm already trying to sing along with it. I feel like I'm in the audience. This is really great. And this is just a year after this was released. I mean, I didn't catch on to this album until like a decade after this. So I totally missed this opportunity. I mean, I was too young to see this show, but I mean, he sounds so crisp and clear up there, and his voice still sounds good now, but hearing it like it was in this time is really exciting. And seeing him at the time, just after he had produced this music, and it's just so fresh and new, is just really exciting. So I'm obviously really emotionally affected by this already. Okay. It was a great intro, really dreamy and plinky plunky, and we're still building. I mean, I know how this song goes. We're still building, so let's see how we keep going. Let's back it up a little bit too. Here we go.
It's a sin that somehow light is changing to shadow and casting its shroud over all we have known. Unaware how the ranks have grown, driven on by a heart of stone. We could find that we're all alone in the dream of the cloud. On the wings of the night, as the daytime is scurrying, where the speechless unite in a silent accord. Using words you will find the strange, mesmerized as they light the flame. Feel the new wind of change on the wings of the night. No more turning away.
Okay. All right. So, I mean, really, I know this song, like, it's in the depths of my brain, in the depths of my musical memory, and especially because I was so young when I was listening to this, like, it's there permanently. Like, every last instrument, every last cadence, just everything. So I'm listening for these things, but at the same time, it's been so long since I've heard this. But I know that it's there. And, so this is like the discernible ear. You know someone's music and you go to see them live and you want to hear the original version of it, but at the same time, you want to give them the freedom to change it a little bit in the moment. I think that this is pretty true to the original, and I think it should be because it's just a year later. If I were to hear this performed today, it might be very different, and I graciously would give the performers the liberty to do so, because it's been a long time since this music came out. They can change it up a little bit if they need to keep their own interest in the artistry. Sometimes you got to change it up a little just to keep your own interest. So I heard a little bit more drum. The drums were more prominent, and it wasn't just the balance. Like, I don't remember hearing quite so much movement on the drums from the original. The entrance of some of the initial entrance of some of the instruments was a little bit different from the original, but it was still built up decently enough. Like, they're working with what they have here with the live instruments. It was great. And then I was waiting for that little bass, that dum, ba-da-dum, that little transition moment, that motif into it. That's what I was waiting for, because I was like, oh, my ear wants to hear that. It was a little bit different, but it was great in the moment. It was wonderful. Now we're heading into something else that's different. Like, I hear more of a chorus happening. I don't know if they're sort of inviting the audience to maybe sing along. Are we headed that way? That would be awesome. All right. Well, let's see where it's going. Let's back up just a couple seconds just to get into that. All right, here we go.
From the weak and the weary, no more turning away from the coldness inside. Just a world that we all must share. It's not enough just to stand and stare. Is it only a dream that there'll be no more turning away?
All right, I'm going to stop it there. I know it's basically in the middle of a guitar solo, but it's a long guitar solo. And well, first of all, copyright won't let you play this all the way through necessarily. So I do need to stop it, but I need to comment. It's beautiful. The fact that he put all of this together in the studio and then he's able to take it out on the stage and it sounds this fantastic. It's so impressive. I keep having to remind myself, as I said before, that this is, at the time of this video, it's still brand new. And so he is playing something that is still new to him, but you can tell where he's changing it up a little bit. And so, again, I wish I could just peek into his brain and decide how much of that is improv on the spot just because he feels like it, and how much of it is intentional because he really does want to get away from what he did on the album already. Maybe he's already wanting to do that. I don't know. I know what it's like to be a stage performer that has to play the same music over and over again, and you want to keep it fresh for yourself. And so I'm just wondering, like, how many times has he already performed this? And so what are his decisions as to how he's playing this solo? But you know what? I mean, I can sit here and wonder that forever. But the overall thing is that what I heard him do was really fantastic. So not complaining, just kind of curious. It is really fun sometimes to sort of imagine the point of view of the musicians on stage. We all sometimes take it for granted when we see a group like this that's so well polished, and you know, what's it like for them up there? You can just sort of sit back and relax because you know it's going to be good, but at the same time they're working so hard and you see them having a good time. So like the big smiles on their faces, you know. Okay, so we're obviously to the end of this. One thing that I remember from Momentary Lapse of Reason is that in the album, there are lots of moments of purely instrumental music. There were some moments of that I noticed in The Dark Side of the Moon, but I don't know, like half of this song is just him wailing on the guitar. Again, not complaining. Okay, so I'm going to back it up a little bit because he was starting to add some new things that I didn't recognize from my memory of the original. There were so many things that were there. I was very much satisfied, but how is this going to end? Are we going to you can't really do a fade out because it's live. Is it going to transition to something else? Is this the end of the concert? I don't know. So I backed it up just a second, just like 30 seconds. All right, let's hear it on out. Let's hear how it ends. Okay. Whew, that was great. And the heartbeat at the end. So, are we headed into some Dark Side of the Moon there? Because I know that reference now. Okay. Wow. All right. So back when I got to know Momentary Lapse of Reason, we didn't have the internet. And so unless you went to a show like this, there was no way for you to really get to see it performed live. So I never really counted on being able to see that song performed live. And I'm just now putting myself back in my own shoes back in the day and just realizing, look what you just got to see. And of course, wishing that I could have been there in person. Wow. And you know, what song's coming up next? Like I said, Dark Side of the Moon. Hey, sounds good to me. I love what he interjected into this, what they interjected into this performance. A little bit more chorus sound, maybe a little bit more gospel, and some blues. He got a little bluesy with his guitar playing there. I'm here for it. Sounds good to me. That was fantastic. In fact, I'd like to go back and let's just hear. I tried to clock it when I was noticing it, where it got almost a little chromatic, and then we heard a couple of big jumps in there. So I heard this. That's a sixth over and over and over again. And then at the very end, he was kind of circling around this third and this fourth down here, just kind of hovering over that. And then there was actually one funny little note. I caught it each time I heard it, because I think I heard it in one of the little rewinds that I did too, the first time through. It might have just been a mistake, but that's a live performance, and I love it. I'll take all of it. But that little turn right there to me stood out. I don't remember that being utilized in the original, but again, it's been years since I've heard it, so I could be wrong, but to me that stood out. And again, nothing wrong with it. I really loved it, but it's part of that insight into what's going on in his brain and what he's feeling in the moment. So if we were to hear other live performances from this tour, or I'm assuming it's a tour, would he have done the same thing, or is it different every single time? Again, just curious. So the beginning. So we had sort of the plinky plunky beginning, which does stay true to the original. I think you have to, and I don't know what it was transitioning out of to go into this. But I did like how it just kind of started up, and then we added all of the instruments in. So let's hear a little bit of that again. I want to appreciate that, because the first time he sings, the first time the vocals come in for this song, it's profound. I feel like, and where it falls on the album, it's towards the end of the album. So you're already drawn in. You're already in place emotionally. So I think I was so excited that I wasn't there yet, but I think I'm there now. So we're going to go back, and I want to hear that opening again.
On the turning away from the pale and downtrodden, and the words they say which we won't understand. Don't accept that what's happening
All right. Oh, we heard a little tambourine in there that, it was a good slow introduction of all of the instruments after that, because you just have the keyboard sound in the background and just his voice just echoing. I was listening for that echo. It was there. It was great. Yeah, I just got chills when I hear the opening. And it's also really profound when the name of the song is the opening line of the song. There's no mistaking it. This is the experience we're here to have. Okay. His voice. There's something stirring yet gentle about his voice. It's so smooth and clear, and it's precise, but not overly so. I'm kind of describing the opposites here. Those are all contradictory terms. And I think that balance of good but not too good is key for his delivery. And that includes the fact, and I remember this from the original, that he doesn't always hit da 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 da. He doesn't hit that high note every time. It's just slightly under. And the fact that I'm hearing it here, and I heard it over and over again, made me fall in love with this song and his singing of it even more. There's something about him reaching up there and not quite having to nail that. And I don't care if it was a deliberate artistic decision or not. It might just be a really high note and he's kind of locked into the key. So you've got to, da, da, da. You've got to hit the note. It's endearing. It's personal. It's human. And I've always loved it. Let's hear it again.
And the words they say which we won't understand, don't accept that what's happening is just a case of other suffering. Oh, you'll find that you're joining in the turning away.
Yeah. So it's ever so slight, but that top note is always just a little under pitch. And again, that's part of the charm of the original performance. There were a couple. I remember hearing that all those years ago and being like, oh, there he's right on that note. But the rest of the time it was just a little bit under, and it's just, I've always loved it. Okay. This was really great. Okay. So that was On the Turning Away, live 1988 by Pink Floyd. I'm so glad that I got to see this. It's really taken me back. Now I want to kind of go back and listen to the whole album, Momentary Lapse of Reason. Maybe I'll refrain and save some of it for some future reactions here, because I do really love that album. And having since experienced Dark Side of the Moon plus a couple of other tracks from other albums, I can truly say that my love for Momentary Lapse of Reason still holds true. It still stands strong. And that my experience with Pink Floyd here is just continuing to grow. But this song in general, and even what it stands for, you notice I didn't even talk about what it stands for. I didn't talk about the lyrics. I'm all about the music. Sometimes it's about how the lyrics are delivered musically, but the words behind it, obviously, I've let some of that sink in over the years also. And it's, talking about the pale and downtrodden. Excellent lyrics there, by the way. And how we shouldn't turn our backs on fellow humans, basically. It's a meaningful song through and through. It's been a part of my musical life since I was a kid. And I'm really glad that I'm getting to revisit this now, in my life now, especially with the influence of everything here on the show. Like, now I know this is prog rock. It's 80s, but it's still, it's prog rock in the 80s. It's Pink Floyd here, born from the original prog rock of the 70s. And my knowledge of this is just really allowing me to see this more clearly. So what an honor it is. What a pleasure. Okay. So don't forget to do all things, like and subscribe. Become a patron on Patreon, support the channel on Ko-fi. You can become a channel member. And as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect. Just be okay and keep listening.